sucker!
Well, I think that we should talk about what went down other than reality wrestling on Saturday night. Of course, a pay-per-view that many people were excited to see and ready to see. AEW came back with what I believe is their last show of the year until 2022
That's the one from Target Center, right?
in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, man. It's always a hot place to work, man, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So, yeah. Tell me about it, man. How'd it go?
Show was, in my estimation, great from top to bottom. And I think that that's in part because you have this ability to build to one show every quarter, right? So instead of having a pay-per-view every month, which is the WWE model, and that works for them, and that's fine. But instead of having to do that, you get this once every quarter pay-per-view model. And what I think that does is it allows you to really think about what you want on that show at the end of those 3 months, right? And build every angle up the entire time, right? And then you get a really great payoff and you get matches that people are genuinely invested in. When you have, sometimes WWE has 14 pay-per-views a year, right? Depending on if they do 2 in 1 month. It's just harder. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just harder to get people to be invested in 14 pay-per-views as opposed to 4 pay-per-views.
Well, I think the difference is the angles, not being able to run almost like a soap opera, and then you finally get the big payoff and whatnot. I think doing it on a monthly basis, storylines are almost like sitcoms, opposed to a 3-disc, CD set, you know what I mean? Where you've gotten a chance to really, really bite into it. So many things have happened in between that match actually happening. When that match actually happens, there's some real fire, some real tension there. So I can buy that. I totally can buy that.
I think that, again, this show from top to bottom was great. Some of the big matches that came out of it was, of course, let's talk about this. Hangman Adam Page, who I believe he and Jericho battled for the inaugural AEW championship.
Yeah.
He didn't win that night. He and Kenny Omega go on to tag team with one another. They win the tag team titles. They lose them. Kenny becomes the champion. A 2-year story finally pays off with Hangman Adam Page winning the AEW World Championship Saturday night.
No. Wait a minute, man. Can we rewind for just a second?
Sure.
I mean, because you want to talk about how, Hangman Adam Page, and he just, first of all, I like Hangman Adam Page. I don't want anybody out there to make any fake news or anything like that as far as me and Adam Page goes. But you said something and that I remember that I got to bring up right now. And it definitely it make you definitely have to look at things totally different now, because you said Daniel Bryan won the match, and there's no way in hell Adam Page was going to win that title.
I did say that.
You automatically got suckered into the way the storyline has always been written, and so I must say, you bought in. And you got thrown off right there. So that tells me that one little nugget right there tells me a whole lot about the way things really, really can be in this business if we really focus on trying to make people like yourselves, think otherwise. Because now you're never going to think the same ever again going into a finish when you're watching those guys do their thing.
Yeah, I agree, because I remember it was after the show on Saturday, and I think you told me how Bryan Danielson won the tournament, and I was like, well, you know what that means? It means Hangman's going under, and that was just me going 1 + 1 = 2. Hangman's a face, Bryan's a face. They wouldn't do that. Bryan and Kenny had this 30-minute draw. I'm thinking that way it makes sense to go build to that.
No, but this goes to the realism of the way I've always tried to think about the way the business really, really can be. Because I always thought it was to suspend the imagination of the fan that's watching it in that moment. Of course, we all know what it is, but in that moment, I need to feel a certain way when I'm watching a movie,
Mhm.
especially if it's an action movie. And if I'm not feeling a certain way when I'm watching that action movie, I'm gonna walk out going, man, that was a bunch of crap. And I just think with professional wrestling, we have the ability to make the fans feel a certain way, but if it's not done a certain way, it's just gonna become, the norm to go out and say, "This is awesome, this is awesome," that kind of stuff. So I just think the artist has the power to actually make the fans really, really make this a believable sport. I think that's really, really cool to be able to throw you off. To now think, man, you got two guys that are good guys that's going to be working. Why that can't happen? But for me, it's always been a contest, and with a contest, it may start out as a contest, but if if I slap you in the mouth hard enough, you might get ticked off, and it might turn into a fight.
For
So
sure.
I think that's the beauty of what a game is today, and I really think it could work.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was pleasantly surprised. We went after the show. A bunch of the crew and boys went out to the restaurant next door, and people were taking bets on the main event. People were putting cash down on the table because no one was really sure what was going to happen. I didn't partake in the betting, but I thought for sure Kenny would retain to this. But they went out there and they had a hell of a match. They worked like a main event style, like only those two could. Kenny Omega, I still maintain one of the best in the world. Is he number one? I think that's for everyone else to debate, but he's up there. Like you said, he's in the top 5. Where? I don't know, but he's floating
Yeah,
somewhere in there. He's
yeah.
floating somewhere in there. So he went out there and gave Adam Page what I think is the best match of his career. Adam Page, new world champion. And I think the first guy the title's been on who wasn't previously established. Jericho previously established in WWE and WCW. John Moxley, obviously WWE. And then Kenny Omega, New Japan, and everywhere else. Those guys were established coming into AEW and winning that title. Hangman Adam Page, this is the first one who wasn't.
Hey man, kudos to the dude, man. I mean, he seemed like he floats his own ship. He's not like beholden to any allegiance or anything like that. He seemed like he just want to go out and perform and do his thing. And I think that's what the business really is, man. And if you can go through this thing, have some fun, and make some money, entertain, I think that's what all entertainers wish for. Really, I really think that's what they all wish for. Some of them, of course, are prima donnas, and they want the extras that go along with it. But some of the great actors, you never hear about their personal life or anything like that. You know what I mean? They just want to be. They just want to be the best at what they do and leave a legacy of great work that people can remember and watch and go, man, that was really, really awesome. And I think when we get so caught up into this BS, as far as one guy rooting for this guy, and if someone root for this guy, they're wrong. It totally can get totally convoluted. So my thing is to see a guy like Adam Page, cash in, doing not just cash in, doing it his way, wearing them country ass shirts. You know what I mean, bro? Brooks and Dunn will be proud. What's up, this Booker T, 2-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out the Shine, checking out the Gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker?